women are just hitting new records. You know, as there are highs, there are also lows. Women have hit a new low in this sense. I was checking out a video from Soraya and I was blown away. Many of you guys know what's going on right now, where men are now in their soft guy era. And as soft guy era started out kind of like a meme coin, where it was a joke, it's now serious business. And more men are entering into it and realizing that they have been taken advantage of and they're not going to tolerate it anymore. One of the biggest problems that we're seeing, and men are becoming hip to it, are the foodies, where more and more men are saying, wait a minute, these women were never interested in me to begin with. These women are using me for free food. These women are going out every evening with a new guy just to get food. And they're doing this multiple times a day. You've got women who are telling men, instead of taking me on a date and spending $100 or $200 or $500 or $800, take me to Walmart, take me to Target, fill up my cart using that money, and then fill up my car, and then fill up my engine, fill up my gas tank, you know. And if you want to put in some new brake fluid for me, I wouldn't, and even change the oil. The engine oil, I wouldn't hate on that either. This is what's happening. Women are telling men to take them food shopping instead of taking them on dates, or they are going on dates only to eat. They have no interest whatsoever in being with that man. Many of them are using apps like Tinder and other apps, local apps, to have men bring food over to them. So they'll say, oh yeah, come over to my place and bring Chinese, and they'll tell them the exact Chinese that they want, or bring a pizza and they'll tell them the exact kind of pizza that they want, whatever it is, because these are foodies. When the guy gets there, they'll take the food, open it up, and start eating it immediately, and basically create an awkward situation for the guy to leave. Like, they'll just take the food and then fart and say that, like, they're really gassy right now. It's that time of the month. Whatever they have to say to get rid of the guy. The guy will feel embarrassed and he'll just go and act like, just have to dust himself off. These kinds of experiences lead to men saying, you know what, I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to chill. I'm going to play PlayStation 5 or with my gaming PC, watch TV, watch a movie, and avoid relationships entirely. I'm going to go MGTOW. That's what's happening here. It's a damn disgrace. It's a real disgrace. We're going to go ahead and jump into the video by Soraya. I will link you to her channel description. You can go and check her out, support her content. But let's go ahead and watch.
Western women and their dating mentality. Guys, can it get any worse?
Choose to go on a date, I want you to feed me. I don't want to just go for drinks. And I feel like a lot of people will say like a coffee date, or like, let's just go for drinks and like see if we vibe, and then let's do dinner the next time. I see that as like, you're cheap.
Now wait a minute, she's the one who shows up to the date hungry, thirsty. She's the one who wants to be fed, obviously can't feed her damn self, but she's also the one calling the man cheap if he doesn't want to take her to the restaurant and order several dishes. Lady, think before you speak, because the words that are coming out of your mouth don't make any sense and you are absolutely contradicting yourself. Plus, on top of that, you are making us women look bad.
Cheap. No. Let's go to dinner. Let me see the way you order. Let's see your mannerisms. Let's see the vibes. You're going to order one dessert or two desserts. Let's see how generous you are. And I don't know, like, I feel like already when you're going on a date, you're taking a risk. So like, if you're not willing to like take the risk and feed me, and you're only like down to take me for drinks, I find that weird. Like, I'm not into that.
My goodness, I already know that I'm barely going to have any female friends on this platform, but you know what? I stand for truth and everything else goes out the window for me. But it is just so funny to me how this woman actually thinks that every time a woman goes out on a date, she is taking a risk, when 9 times out of 10, and I believe that all gentlemen in the comment section would agree with me when I say that 9 times out of 10, when a woman goes out on a date, it's an economic win situation for her. Because all she does is just look pretty, Sometimes they do look ridiculous, but all they do is show up. When really, ladies, if we're being honest with ourselves one time in our lives, it's really the man who is taking a risk. It's the man who's going home with a financial loss. And let me tell you why. Most of the time, us women, we show up to the date with a face full of makeup, fake hair, fake nails, fake body parts, fake personalities, so the man really has no idea who he's going on a date with. Now you tell me, who's taking the risk here, the man or the woman? And then women are not content with a simple coffee date with a person that they barely know, and they expect that man to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on them. So woman, what are you willing to do in return if that man spends all that money on you and he barely even knows you? Most of you won't even call a man back. All you do is upload Instagram stories, TikTok videos, show your girls where you are, how the man is treating you, what you can suck out of him. Okay, stop talking like that. Anyway, what are you willing to do in return? Most of you are ghosting a man. And if you as a woman believe that it's justified, fair, and okay to expect the man to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for you on a first or second date, and he barely even knows you, doesn't know who you are, what you stand for, if you are even worth his time and his money, why don't you turn around and invite the man to dinner? Gentlemen, drizzle, drizzle. Gentlemen, if she does not look, walk, talk, conduct herself, and is humble like an actual lady, then don't even waste your time, money, and energy on her. I mean, do you even know what a true lady behaves like? Nowadays, when you have all of these women just out here acting so wild, or do you really need a video with a few characteristics of a true lady? Because most of these women out here be like,
she said she doesn't eat at Cheesecake Factory, so I took her to a 5-star restaurant and she did this.
I truly hope that this video was a skit. I mean, if not, I am just highly embarrassed for her. I mean, we are women. We're supposed to be ladies and know how to hold ourselves back. We're supposed to know how to be humble, how to be kind, how to be normal. Let the man order a drink, one meal, and a dessert. I mean, most of the time when these women take themselves and their friends out, all they do order is a drink, one meal, and a dessert, because that's either all they can afford or all they want to afford. But if these women out here are out on a date with a man, they'd be like,
spotted hyenas are crafty killers here on this Serengeti plain, especially when they're hungry. And right now, they're very hungry. They have a reputation as scavengers, but as we can see, they can hunt and bring down
a man financially. Oh yes, they can. Okay, gentlemen, bear with me. We're going to have to talk about the next clip.
You're talking to a guy that claims to be interested in dating you, and you say something like, oh, I'm going to get my nails done or my hair, I'm going to the mall, and he does not offer to send you money to contribute to that. You need to block him, and you need to block him quickly, okay? We don't have time to be talking to men that cannot contribute to our lives, even in the smallest of ways. Not in this economy.
That is so ruthless and selfish, to be honest with you, and absolutely not attractive for anyone, whether if it's a woman or a man. I mean, listen to what she has said. Women nowadays know very well that economy is bad and that cost of living is getting higher and higher and higher. But instead of making adjustment to their personal lifestyle, these women are not looking for a partner, they are looking for a sponsor. So if the situation is not comfortable enough for a woman anymore, if you don't spend enough money on her anymore, which I think men shouldn't be doing anyway, then they will block you. But you know what? It's a good thing that women like this are blocking men, because there is nothing, no benefit a man can get out of a woman like that. And most of the time, men don't even like what women are doing to themselves, as far as these unbelievably long nails, unbelievably crazy weaves, unbelievably crazy lip fillers, colors, all of this mess. Men likes their women natural.
You know, so everything here is 100% true that she is saying. And I will say it is an absolute disgrace what men are dealing with now. Soft guy era caused a lot of men to wake up and realize that they were being bamboozled and taken advantage of. Oh, you need to send me Cash App before I'll even leave the house. Send me money so that I can pay for this, this, and this. They are completely lying. There was a video from The Desirable Truth where this woman was saying that her serum and all of her stuff cost hundreds of dollars. Bro, a dermatologist popped up in the comments and said, no, I'm a dermatologist. Your serums do not cost hundreds of dollars. All right? A lot of these men are now calling women out. I've had MDs with PhDs, men from all different walks of life calling out modern women and what they're doing. It is getting bad out there. And in this economy, for a woman to act this way, like, guys, you have guys who are like taking women on dates now. What they do is, if they don't get what they want, if the guy says, oh, I'm not taking you to I'm not taking you to get food, we're going for drinks, we're going to Starbucks, she will pull out her phone and start recording immediately because she wants to destroy his life. She's going to put him online. She's going to put him on TikTok, okay? Put him on Insta, and she wants to destroy his life. She wants to destroy him. If they go on a date and he's like, you know what? I'm not paying for your meal. Because a lot of dudes are doing that now where they're like, you know what? I don't like the way you behave I don't like the way you're behaving. You've made it very clear that, like, oh, so you're not going back to my place with me. We just came here to eat. Like, think about it from a man's perspective. You take a woman out just to go eat, and then she tells you have a good day. So now you've lost anywhere from easily $100. $100 is cheap today to eat out, to a couple of $100, sometimes even hundreds, like even almost $1,000 to feed this foodie. And then she's like, have a good day. Have a good day, sir. And you know you'll never hear from her ever again, unless she thinks that she could drain something else out of you. Because she's like, oh, he's an idiot. I could take advantage of him at least a couple of times. And they think that men are so stupid because of the simp economy. Because men have been allowing themselves to be taken advantage of for so long, because the Victorian or the classical era mindset is still there, where it's like, oh, women don't have a lot of money, so you need to show them that you're generous, you're a kind man. Women are out earning men today. We don't live in that era anymore where women did not have money, where women did not work. Women work just as much as men. They make more money than men. Younger women out earn men in the workforce. It's only when they get older, into their 30s and 40s, and decide that they want to now have children, that they start to walk away from promotions and longer hours, and then their wages start to go down. Women are now the majority of all doctors in the United States. It just happened rapidly. They are the majority of all people attending medical school. They're the majority of all doctors. They're making massive inroads into fields that were in medicine that were once predominantly men, like surgery. Okay, women have made major inroads in law. Like right now, we're heading to a point where most lawyers are women or will be women soon. Women have made major inroads in engineering, in terms of nursing. Like 90% or over 90% of all nurses are women. Like, women own everything at this point. They own essentially everything. In education, women are the vast majority of all teachers. The vast majority of teachers from K through 12, women own the entire academic system. And more men are dropping out. The few men that are still left are retiring or dropping out and avoiding going into education entirely. They'd rather go and drive for Uber. And yet women are out here doing this. When you go overseas, Soraya talked about this. She said that women will compete for men overseas. Women will buy a man a drink because the man is the prize. So they will approach him. They will offer him a drink. They will talk to him. Okay? If they're interested in him, they're trying to lock him down. When you go to the Philippines, the Filipinos don't mess around. Okay? If you're not intimate with her on the first day you meet her, you will likely happen by the second time, because that's just her foot in the door. After that, she's going to try to build value immediately. She's going to start cooking for you, cleaning for you, washing your clothes. This happens in Thailand too. This happens in a lot of other countries. She's going to start to take care of you as quickly as she can to show you that she is wife material. This is how the Filipinos aren't messing around. All right, I'm seeing videos from the Filipinos like now trying to fight with other Asian women because they're basically they want these men. They want these men, and they're like they're trying to like argue it, and they're trying to like say why, like, you're not gonna have that kind of success in Japan and South Korea. They're not bad people, but they don't really want you over there like that. They're guys, they want these men. They're trying to like put it out there like these women are not messing around. They're on top of their business. They are really on top of their business. The Filipinos aren't screwing around. I told you it's going to be an international competition for Western men. All over the world, women are going to compete for these men because they want these men. And women in Western society will no longer have access to these men. That's why you have women who are saying now that men should be banned from being able to go overseas. What happened in the Supreme Court recently? The Supreme Court recently found that that a person does not have the legal right to bring their spouse to the United States. So if you marry someone in a foreign country, and they did this for the case was I believe was a woman who wanted to bring her husband that was overseas over, and they basically said, yeah, she does not have a legal right to bring him here. But this is really directed at men. It's really directed at men because it's mostly men that are going overseas and finding wives. And what they're trying to do is to prevent American men from basically going overseas, getting married, and bringing all their wives back to the United States, creating complete competition for American women that they cannot stand up to. Think about it very, very carefully. All right? Because that's what the future is right now. I made a video many years ago called Men Leaving the West. And what we're seeing right now is literally that, where you have the passport kings who are walking away from Western society, relationships in Western society. If they stay in Western society, many of them are choosing not to date, not to marry, not to have children. And they're just living simple lives of luxury and comfort. A man does not need much to survive. The average man can live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. There's a lot of dudes who say right now to me, like, Angry, I make $100,000 a year and I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, but let me ask you a question. How are you living really? You make $100,000 a year. Do you have student loan debt? Are you paying off debt? Okay. Well, most of my money is going into rent and all this other stuff. There's your problem. Okay. Because if you're still like trying to say, okay, well, I want to buy a house, or I want to go and get a wife and this and that, then that's your problem right there. Because what a lot of men are doing right now is they're saying, forget about the wife in Western society. Forget about that American dream. I will go and I will purchase a mobile home or a tiny home or rent a small studio. And I will live far below my means. So if I'm making $100,000 a year and after they take taxes out of that, I'm left with, let's say, $70,000. I'm not going to spend more than $1,000 to $1,500 a month in rent. Okay? And really, most men are not going to even do that. They would rather live in a shoebox at the side of the road than spend that kind of money. So what do? They'll go and they'll get a tiny home, they'll purchase a mobile home, or they will rent just a room if they have to. But they're not going to spend that kind of money. Get a small studio, but they're not going to spend that kind of money. And I understand some people are like, well, I don't have any option. Maybe you live in New York, maybe you live in California, in LA or San Diego, or in a place where the rent is really, really high. And a lot of men will find alternatives. All right. Like before they do something like that, they will go and get an old RV and live find a place and then put it in a trailer park or something. But they're not going to spend that kind of rent. It really depends on where you live, because any man that still has the idea that, okay, I'm going to get a wife and I need to do all of this stuff, he's going to end up broke in the United States. Like, you have to get that idea out of your head. It's not to say there are not good women in Western society, but for every good woman, there are 20 good men chasing her. For every one good woman in Western society, all right, there are 20 good men chasing her. So it doesn't really work out. And it makes no sense, because you're trying to support a family and support children in America. Forget about it. America now is just going to become a place to make your money. Make your money and leave. And you have to still be careful overseas when you get into a relationship with a foreign woman, because you don't know what they can do. You don't know their laws. Some dudes are going to the Philippines, getting married, and they don't realize that the Filipinos family can sue you, can sue the foreigner to take care of them, provide them with a home, pay the school fees for the kids, for their kids, even though he's not directly related, because they don't have, in other countries, they don't have welfare. They don't have public assistance. They look to the family to do that. So if a woman marries a foreigner, then they're going to say, well, you're family now, so you need to take care of her family. And Filipinos won't tell you. A lot of them won't tell you this. This is why you have to educate yourself. But I told y'all, it's going to be like the international version of American Idol. International version of American Idol, where you're going to have women competing from all around the world for American men, for men from Western society, the United States, Canada, Australia, the UK, all of these predominantly speaking English countries. They're going to be competing for these men because they want these men. The same women who said that they don't want these men are going to be pushing more and more to prevent these men from being allowed to leave the country, because they're all living off the simp economy right now. So many women are now turning to OnlyFools and referring to themselves as creators. Content creators? I'm a creator. And it's like so sad. I remember going to one of these channels, and I was like, I left a comment like, this is just absolutely terrible. I'm disgusted by this. You know, you should do better. And some woman left a comment responding to me, mind your business. Because this is what they're about right now. Mind your business. This is the lifestyle that they're in. And then when it doesn't work out for them, that's when they run to the church and they try to like, oh, I'm going to find Jesus. And guys, I told you, the pastor is nothing more than a pimp. And the ladies going to the church, they're nothing more than his chicks. Okay? And the goal of the church is to extract wealth and resources from men. That's why they're pissed off that men are leaving the church and walking away. You have all of these foodies out here that are trying everything possible to get men to pay for their meals because they're hungry. A lot of the time, if they don't find a man to buy them a meal that day, they don't eat. That's why they're getting so angry and like, oh, no coffee and none of that, because they don't have money for food. In this economy, they don't have money for food. They have no money for food. And these women are literally salty. They are so salty right now. They're hungry, they're broke, they're struggling, and they're getting really angry because dudes are refusing to pay for their meals. What's happening is they're going on these dates, and these dudes are like, you know what? I'm not paying for your meal. I'm not paying for your meal. And these women are like flipping out over a few dollars. Like a dude is like, I'm not, like literally over like $27. You'll have a girl flipping out over $27 because this dude is like, I'm not paying $27. And the response would usually be, okay, I don't care. If that's how you are, I'll just pay the money. Bro, she doesn't even have, guys, she doesn't have that money. She does not. She's either very tight or she doesn't have it. And to be very clear, most of the time, it's because she does not have it. When a woman starts to beg and starts to plead and gets angry, part of it is entitlement. And she doesn't like the idea of it. And the idea of just even spending money, she's willing to make a scene because this is how women have been conditioned. But a lot of these women, when you really press them, you discover that they don't even have the money in their pockets. Like they're like, they can't pay the bill. They can't even get themselves home, because one of the things that women like to do, it's a challenge for them. Like going to clubs without a dime in their pockets and having guys buy them free drinks, pay for their ride home. It's a dangerous lifestyle that women have been living. And this whole foodie nonsense where they're using applications to get men to give them free food, bring free food to their homes, like he's a delivery dude. Nah, it's disgusting. It's really disgusting.
Is that because you asked me on a date and you're asking me to split the bill with you? It's a respect thing.
I just don't know you that well.
Okay, I don't know you that well, so that's completely fair, but I still agreed to go on a date with you to IHOP, and you're asking me to split the bill, and I don't think that's, like, respectful.
I would pay for you at a nice restaurant as well. Just, it's principle.
Okay, well, it's a respect thing for me, and on top of being disrespectful, I feel like you just sat here and played a slots game app literally the entire time after asking me to go on a date for the last 3 weeks.
It's called Jackpot World, and I'm practicing for a tournament coming up. I told you that.
Okay, how does the slots game app on your phone help you practice for a tournament in Vegas?
It has every type of slot you would not understand.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't understand because I'm not doing that during a date. I don't want to go back and forth about this game thing, like, this whole time. I'm just saying that I would really appreciate it if you took care of the bill because you asked me out, but if you can't, that's fine.
It is 2024, and I don't know you that well. If I knew you were the type of girl to let me hit on the first date, like, maybe.
Why would you say something to me like that? Seriously. I took time out of my day to come see you. This is beyond disrespectful. Honestly, I'm getting so angry right now. I would like if you just left. I will take care of it. I really don't want to hear from you.
You'll take care of it?
Yes.
I mean, I might actually let you do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see that? So what they do is they turn on the phone. This is real. Some dudes are like, oh, these videos are fake. Maybe, guys, a lot of these videos are real. Cheesecake Factory lady was real. This woman who started hollering and screaming when a man tried to take her for coffee is real, okay? These women, and so many of these videos, these women are turning on the camera and trying to, like, say, oh, look at the men. These guys give me the icks. And they're putting the camera on these men because they're trying to destroy the reputation of these men. These women don't have money, all right? He took her to IHOP and said that he took her to IHOP, right? He took her to IHOP, and I mean, look at this. Look at this. He asked me on a date to IHOP and expects me to split the bill, $27. All right. So the bill was $27, which is for both of them. Y'all, that's insane. That's a really good deal. So, guys, if you think about this carefully, the bill was $27. And let's say that her half was like 14, right? I mean, bro, she cannot afford $14. She was fighting. All right, it says to split the bill, $27. Bro, she can't afford. I mean, even 27 is a joke. But if they're trying to split $27, $14, and she can't come up with $14, y'all, this is how bad it is. These women don't have any money. Another problem is that, so much of it is fake. A lot of these girls, the hair is fake. All right, the hair is, you don't even realize it's fake. You don't even realize that these are extensions because they're done so well today. Everything. Look at it. Look at her nails. Look at the nails. Those big red nails. Do you see that? Press-on nails. Doesn't have real nails of her own. It's all fake. The makeup, the mascara, the blush. You don't even know who you're speaking to. That's not her natural skin tone. Look at her face. Look at her skin tone on her face, and then look at the skin tone of the rest of her body. Completely different. Look how she contoured her nose. All right? We're not seeing what her actual nose even looks like. Look at her eyelashes. Okay? Look at her eyebrows. Look, everything here is fake. You don't know who you're actually speaking to. You have no idea who you're speaking to. And this is what men are dealing with now. And women seem to think that they're so entitled that men need to pay up because they're desperate. All right? These are foodies. These people are desperate. If the man does not pay, a lot of the times they do not eat. They will not have a meal that day. And one of the tricks that they'll use is they'll take food to go. So they go out with the dude and then they'll take food to go so that they have food to put in their fridge. Some women, what they'll do is they'll go out with a guy and they'll try to order everything off the menu. So they'll order a bunch of, if they have kids, they'll order food for their kids. And then try to have the guy pay for all of that. Because their kids need to try that food too. Guys, what kind of evil stuff is that? What kind of nonsense? Who does something so evil, so cruel, and so vindictive? And then you have men who are like, go where you're needed and endure. Guys, these are simps. These are simps. My thing is, don't get into the era with the state. Give the state its money. Because if they want it, they're just gonna take it. Some of y'all are like, I'll rot in jail. I'm not fighting the state. They can take whatever they want and just leave me with my life. But I'm not gonna do any more than I have to survive. I'm gonna live a simple life of luxury and comfort. That's what most men are doing right now and walking away. The sad part is that a lot of these women, what they're doing to men is so grave. They're affecting men so much psychologically that a lot of men can no longer get into a relationship, even overseas, because their mind, they no longer trust, and they're even losing attraction. Yes, it actually happens. A lot of men are losing attraction. So they go overseas and they meet women, but they automatically associate them with women in Western society. They're afraid to talk to them. They're afraid to escalate. They're afraid to do anything because of how they've been treated. So they've been conditioned. They can't even, their masculinity has been ripped out of them. They have been conditioned to like not even approach women, not to speak to them. If a woman approaches them, a lot of dudes will just go overseas now and they'll live like monks overseas. They'll basically become monks overseas, and they're just leaving the West because they can't stand the BS anymore, but they're not going to get into a relationship. So many guys go to the Philippines. They don't get into a relationship with anyone. They just go over there because they want their peace. So many guys go to Japan, and they won't date in Japan anymore because they just want their peace. So I'm seeing so many videos from dudes they went to Japan, and they had like 5 girlfriends at one time, and then suddenly they just stopped. Because like now they're just focusing on their money. Like something is happening to men around the world, and it's what women in Western society are doing. They've pushed men so far that a lot of men are losing attraction. They are losing the desire to even be in a relationship. Even if you took away video games and everything else, these men would go fishing. These men would pick up art. These men would start learning how to draw. These men would just listen to music. They would find other things and other ways of keeping themselves happy. What would a relationship do for them? Having someone to talk to, it sounds nice in your head, but then you're actually with this person and it's miserable. All right? You're living a tortured life. So men will basically surrender everything. They'll live in a shoebox at the side of the road with not much in there other than the clothes on their backs. And they'll be happy as a pig in mud because at least they have their peace. And when a man is capable of being alone with himself and his own thoughts, that's an unstoppable man. That's an unstoppable man. When a man can find peace from within, it's over. That's how a lot of the monks are, where they go into meditation and they learn how to control their desires. All of that meditation that they do, guys, what do you think they're doing? They're learning how to control urges for physical intimacy, urges for food, urges for comfort, and they're building a world inside of themselves. A world of thought, a world of happiness, a world of peace. They're not trying to stop these desires. They're allowing them to flow within them. It took me a long time to really understand Buddhism. I'm still learning. The key to reaching enlightenment, from what I think, is not to stop one's desires. It is to allow them to pass. Allow them to flow like the river, like the stream. Do not act upon them. Just sit and be with them. Be with your thoughts. Be with yourself. Do not fight your thoughts. Do not fight. Allow them to pass. Allow your mind, guys. Eventually, your mind will get bored. Unless it's receiving constant stimulation from the world, it will eventually get bored. And it will drift to more pleasant things. And you will begin to internal happiness. The monks eat well. You look at it like humility. Like, oh gosh, these people are so humble. No, they're wealthy. The monks are wealthier than you. And people don't comprehend that. They live in these monasteries, and what do? They like grow their own food and they create different things and they sell things and they live very simply. Guys, many of them will eat only one time a day, but the reason why they eat one time a day is for health benefits. I used to do one time a day, and I was never hungry and I was never worrying about food. It's only when like I start stressing about the world and things happening around me, that's when you start to like fall back into bad habits. But these guys, they eat very, very well, and they maintain very good health. And they've walked away. They don't care what's happening in the rest of the world. They're like, okay, I don't give a damn. I don't care who rules over the country. I don't care who rules over the world. I have no interest in having children or getting married or relationships or fighting or stopping anything. That's really it. These men are not fight. Guys, these men have moved on. They've walked away. They'll pay the state whatever. Guys, how can the state take more from you if you have nothing left to give? They have the clothing on their back. Guys, they live such simple lives that it's hard to take what they have. But they have plenty. They have their skills. Gardening, craft making, building things, know-how, cleaning. Okay? They have the clothes. They have the basic necessities, a roof over their head. So they live simple lives of luxury. They live lives of peace. And they've walked away. They figured it out. If all men started doing this, though, and this is what's beginning to happen. Look at what's happening with men avoiding walking out of Western society, avoiding relationships with Western society. It's leading to the simp economy collapsing. That's why so many women are like, they want MGTOW stopped. They want it banned. Because they don't want more men hearing about this lifestyle. And of course, it'll just happen naturally. But the more men hear about this, the more men say, yeah, this works for me. I'm going to do that as well. Because there's either men are going to walk away or they're going to go their own way. That's how it is going to be at this point. They'll walk away and, they may choose to become a passport king, go overseas and find something overseas. Or they may choose to, stay in the States, and if they choose to change their minds at some point, they will, and they'll find someone later on, or maybe they find a good woman in the States and they'll walk away with her, or they'll go MGTOW and they live separate lives separate from the state, lives separate from relationships, they will live separately, and this is what's happening right now. And women in Western society, they think that by tormenting men, putting men online, shaming men, like doing these videos where men are refusing to pay for their meals, men will learn like they better not mess with these women, or this is what you're going to expect. They don't understand that this is only going to lead to more men isolating themselves at home, staying at home. All right. Women are like, guys, where are all the men? What time do you guys go shopping for groceries? These men are going in. These guys are going when no one is there. They're in and out within 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's what's happening. And they're not making eye contact. I told you it's going to come to a point where women are going to say things like they want to sit down and have conversations with the men and talk about what's happening, what's going on. How can they rebuild a relationship? And the only people that are going to be there are the simps, guys like Destiny. And they're going to say, what, Destiny, what are you doing here? We don't want to talk to you. We want to talk to the MGTOWs. We want to talk to the MWAs. And Destiny's going to say, yeah, those guys aren't coming. They're like, what about Fresh and Fit? Yeah, Fresh and Fit, they're tired of y'all. All right? They're not coming. So what are you doing here? Oh, I'm all you have. And maybe you need to show me a little bit of respect. Maybe you need to show me a little bit of respect. Because the only men they're going to have are the simps.
When are single men grocery shopping? I tend to go Saturday morning or Sunday morning, depending upon my schedule, but don't end up seeing any men. Or what are the grocery shops that you're shopping at? Are you at Winco? Are you at Walmart? Are you at Safeway, Fred Meyer, New Seasons, Trader Joe's? Am I looking for the single men grocery shopping on the wrong days, times? Are you going every day after work to get fresh groceries? Is that when I should be going? Is that at 5? I don't know. Single women want to know. I'm happy to approach you in the grocery store if you're not wearing a ring. I just need you to be there when I'm there. So, I'm happy to adjust my grocery shopping schedule to accommodate coincidentally running into you if that would be helpful. But let me know, single men out there, when are you grocery shopping? Put it in the comments. Thank you.
Y'all see the desperation that's out there right now? Y'all see what's going on right now? We will approach you because men are walking away. And even then, you still have women on social media that are pushing further and pushing men further away. I said this before, and I'll say it again. A country without its men is not a country. A country without its men is a wasteland. If you want to destroy a country, destroy the men. If you want to destroy the men, use the women to destroy the men. This is all by design. And to say that feminism took advantage of women, that's a lie. Feminism did not take advantage of women. Women took advantage of feminism. We saw this happen with the Roman Empire. When men were firmly in control, everything was running well. The average Roman citizen did not have to work. Then they started giving women more and more rights. Okay, no fault divorce, and you know the welfare state was born. What ended up happening? The women began running off, marrying divorcing their husbands, running off, and marrying gladiators. Men began walking away. They stopped protecting the empire. They stopped working. Many of them became NEETs, not in employment, education, or training. Caesar called these men the worst than all of the criminals of Rome, and they were banned from going to public shows, so they couldn't go to the Colosseum. They couldn't watch the gladiators fight. They couldn't go to the theaters. They couldn't watch. So basically, no TV, no movies, no wrestling. They were not allowed to participate in any public events, and basically any form of public entertainment they were barred from. And during the winter time, they were forced. Single men and unmarried men were forced to run chain gang style in the streets in the winter time, behind one another, to punish them for not marrying. And even then, they still wouldn't marry. And within roughly 100 years, the Roman Empire no longer had a military. They were relying almost entirely on SLAVE labor, so labor of indentured servants. And they were using mercenaries to protect the empire, but they had no wealth because men stopped producing in the empire. Men stopped producing value. And, it's all fun and games until you run out of other people's money. The mercenaries realized that the empire, when the emperor tried to pay the mercenaries that were protecting the empire from the barbarians in land, they realized that the emperor had no money. The empire had no money. The empire was broke, so, and could no longer protect itself because it had no military at all. So they pillaged the entire. How stupid do you have to be to have an empire that has you have no one to protect you, and you're living entirely off mercenaries? This is so ridiculous. Which is one of the reasons why we likely are going to see mandatory military service coming to Western society. You've got these idiots who are like, oh, we don't need boots on the ground. These other countries like China have their own problems. They can't afford, and they can't afford to get involved in a global conflict right now. And geographically we're safe, and we have drones. We have drones that are powered by AI and robots that will fight our battles for us. There is no need for boots on the ground, even though our military reserves are only 1/10 of the size they were 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we had almost 2 million people serving in the military reserves. 50 years later, in 2024, we have less than 200,000. And every branch of the military is having trouble recruiting. Every branch of the military. Not only that, every year, 100,000 Gen Zers turn 18. And 100,000 Gen Zers, or over 100,000 Gen Zers, are not signing up for the draft. So whenever a man turns 18, you guys already know in the US, he has to go and register for the draft. Gen Z is not doing that. Gen Z is just sleeping and farting. So what they're doing now is they're putting through a bill in Congress that would automatically sign Gen Zers, both men and women, up for the draft, and also extend the draft age from 25 to 26. So they would automatically be signed up for the draft when they turn 18. And they're already discussing mandatory military service because they cannot fill the ranks. To make it worse, the U.S. military has already determined that 77%, check this out, 77% of high school seniors are not capable of serving in the military. They are not qualified to serve in the military. All right, because of either substance abuse issues, obesity, mental health issues, or mental incompetence. At 77%, before they even leave high school, are already not capable of serving in the military. What do you think that number looks like once they go into college, once they're in their 20s? So if they didn't start using, different substances and develop and have mental health issues in high school, by the time they get into their 20s, late teens or 20s, they're guaranteed to. So we already know that 77% of Gen Zers, before they even leave high school, are not fit to serve in the military. 77%. What do you think that number is by the time they are in their 20s? It could be as high as 80 or 90%. Guys, right now it's 3 out of every 4 Gen Zers. 3 out of every 4 Gen Zers, before they leave high school, are not suitable to serve in the military. They cannot be drafted because of the significant problems. What do you think that number is by the time these people are in their 20s? What do you think the actual numbers are? It could be as high as 90%. It could be 95%. And if you draft Gen Z, all that they're going to do, guys, we saw what happened with Vietnam. When you drafted people who didn't want to go, and people, because all the boomers, they basically dodged the draft. The only ones who went were people who were broke, poor, and and other stuff. And when they sent them over there, all these good for nothings did was get drunk, use substances, play games, party, get laid, and then plot their way back to the U.S. like, oh, maybe I can get injured to get back, or getting on the good side of this sergeant to get back. They were over there just partying in Vietnam. They achieved absolutely nothing in Vietnam. One of the main reasons why Vietnam was not winnable was not just because we should not have been there. It was the quality of the people that they sent there. The people that they sent to Vietnam were the hippies. It was the hippies. The hippies were the ones who went to Vietnam, and you could see exactly what they did there. And while not all boomers were publicly hippies, many of them had the ideals regardless. The boomers were the hippies. What do you guys think regarding this? Women have hit a new low. Guys, again, if you want to watch a full video from Soraya, you can find a link to her channel and the video description of the video, so you can go and check her out and support her work. And also, I do want to remind you guys that I do have a new newsletter. Yes, I do. So if you guys are enjoying my content, then subscribe to my new newsletter for my personal thoughts and insights. To get started, just click the link in the description. What do you guys think regarding all of this? They've hit a new low. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away. And cheers.